I thought I'd answer some of the questions in my Skool community in this video, and we now have over 460 members. We have some great discussions happening here, and so I thought it'd be worth making a video going through some of the recent questions and giving my answers. So I'm going to open this one here by Antar, and Antar is asking, what targeting options would you select if you're promoting a luxury destination like Maldives? So I would go after luxury fashion, luxury lifestyle, some of the luxury brands like the Gucci's of the world. You can also look at private jet interests, supercars. Try those out. The problem with interest is that it's never super accurate. So, for example, you might have someone who can't afford private jet, but is consuming that type of content, and then your ads get shown to that person. So, I would honestly A/B test a couple of ad sets with interests, going after like the luxury fashion, luxury lifestyle, and then I'd also go after Advantage Plus. And provided you're optimizing for conversions, Advantage Plus should figure out how to find people that can afford what you're offering. Then for the second question, you're asking whether spending a high budget per day can generate higher quality leads. I think driving higher quality leads comes down to the qualification, if you're doing lead forms, or the general strategy of how you advertise your offer. Make sure you say the price up front, you're optimized with the right objective. I think that will probably get you to a higher quality lead. Whereas if you're just doing a lead form where it's like name, email, phone number, then yeah, you're going to get low quality leads because they don't know how much it is. And if Facebook's optimizing for lowest cost per lead, it's going to get you pretty dog shit leads. And then the final question is whether selecting higher intent versus more volume has a difference. And I would say there is a bit of a difference. Higher intent is where the user has to check their contact details that they're submitting to you. They have to check their form response. Whereas more volume, you can just literally select anything and just submit that lead form. And so I do personally find that higher intent is better. And I use higher intent pretty much all the time. I don't really go for more volume because I just get really low quality leads. I get people that answer the phone that don't even remember filling out the lead form. The next post I found is around closed Facebook ad account. So first of all, like, sorry to hear this. This is an absolute nightmare. It happens all the time. I've had it happen to myself. I actually lost my original Facebook account many years ago that I was using for my clients, and I had to create a brand new Facebook account. I still have not got that old one back. Facebook are just useless sometimes. Like when you have these types of issues, you get in touch with them, you speak to some meta representative, as they call themselves, and they don't do shit. And there honestly is not a huge amount you could do. But what I would say is that if you think your device is banned by the IP, obviously try and change your IP, use a VPN, something like that. And I would go ahead and buy a agency account, as you can see here. And the agency accounts are whitelisted most of the time. They have a good reputation. So the chances of you getting banned through the agency account is quite slim. If you do get banned, then that agency account will usually be replaced by whoever's providing it. And then aside from that, there are people in Facebook that will take payment to fix issues and whitelist you. They're very hard to find. There's a lot of scammers. I've only known one client that has managed to pay someone in Facebook, I think it's 2,000 euros, for them to go and stop all the ad rejections, get the account back within a week. But apart from that, like trying to get hold of those types of people is difficult and probably unrealistic. So yeah, I would create a brand new Facebook account on a new IP, get an agency account set up. There's a couple of providers you can find on Google. If I find anyone I can recommend, I'll let you know. And yeah, I'd start running ads through that agency account. The next post I want to go to is one that I actually responded to as a comment, but I want to talk about it in more detail. So do you turn off ad sets or ads first in order to optimize? Now, the way Facebook is right now, you would optimize around the ads most of the time. The ad is what drives success. You probably heard the whole term like creative is a variable of success. And that's because the targeting now has become more and more dynamic. You've got Advantage Plus, you've got broad targeting that's working for a lot of people. And so to get the CPA down, to optimize, you just have to keep adding in new ad creative. And so my answer to this question is obviously going to be that you should turn the ads off first, and you should replace the ads with different angles of messaging, different variations of the hook. Maybe you try video instead of static, or carousels, or DPAs if you're an e-commerce brand. But that's what I would be optimizing for and spending my time on. I wouldn't be spending my time on creating different ad set variations, because if the creative is underperforming, then changing the ad set is not going to do much. Like you could change interests, you could change locations. It's probably not going to have an effect. What's going to have an effect is you coming up with more creative and looking at like your click-through rate, your hook rate, and figuring out what actually works in terms of driving people to your site or call to action. Next, I want to talk about this post right here, which was back in March. And I think this is really interesting. So Ethan is asking what the number of creatives should be in order to get good testing done in a campaign. Now, in my opinion, I would go for at least 5 creatives per ad set. And depending on your budget, like if you're spending a couple hundred a day, you could maybe look at 5 to 10 creatives. I think the key overall is to make sure that you have enough creatives in there for Facebook to test with, and also your spend is being allocated evenly across all the different creatives. So what you don't want to do is add in, say, 10 creatives and only spend $30 a day and find that only one creative gets all of the spend. So it does depend on how much you're spending per day, but the ideal number in my experience is around about 5 creatives. Now, if you were going to do 5 creatives, I think you should do maybe 2 videos, 2 statics, 1 carousel, rather than doing all video or all static. And that way you get a variation of different types of creative format, and you can look at the results like your CPC, your CTR, and obviously your CPA, and figure out what type of messaging and what type of creative format is working. And then what I do is start creating more variations of that creative until you find a way to just get the CPA to where you want it to be, and then just basically rinse and repeat that strategy. Next, I want to talk about this question right here. I had to dig this one out because it was posted in February, and Andrew's asking, how do you do TikTok ads for high ticket service company? Now, TikTok is very good for high ticket products, but the problem you have with any ad channel is that with high ticket products, high ticket services, it takes a while to get conversions. So you're not going to be running ads and then let's say tomorrow get payment. And what that means is that it's going to be harder to track who actually converted, and you also can't really optimize per purchase. And so if you're going to do high ticket services, I would personally go for lead campaigns. I would use a tool like Hyros to analyze which lead campaign, which ad set, which ad actually drove the sales. And you want to optimize towards whatever is driving you revenue via the lead campaign. And so you want to have like a really good offer where a user has to enter their email, their name, maybe answer some qualifying questions, and you're going to be optimizing per lead. And then it's going to be a case of trying to get the highest intent people through your funnel for the lowest possible cost. And then on the back end, you would usually have really good email campaigns that nurture people. There's a sales funnel in place. You have people get on calls and then you convert them. And that's usually what I see with high ticket services. Optimize for a lead at the start, drive as many people as you can, make sure you have qualifications so that you don't just let anyone in there. You could qualify them by their budget or by who they are, and you should start seeing conversions very easily. If you guys want to join this Skool community and participate in these discussions, go to the link in my bio. You'll be able to sign up and you'll join me and 460 other people that are talking about all things media buying.